The City by Stella Gemmell, read by Simon Shepherd. Volume 2. Part 4. The Good Son. Chapter 21. As a small boy, Fell had been sent to live among strangers. In the barracks and encampments where he had lived his life, he had listened to men tell of their mothers, of saints and angels, sweet smiling women, warm and comforting. He thought of himself as unsentimental, and he found the mawkish sentimentality of brutal men hard to understand and, at times, difficult to stomach. He had witnessed the rape and mutilation of women, and turned away, his heart a stone in his chest, and seen the same men in their cups with tears in their eyes speak of their virtuous mothers and cherished virginal sisters. He remembered no mother, although in fragments of dreams he sometimes saw a girl's face, a child really, looking down on him, felt soft lips on his forehead and smelled warm milk and clean linen. But his earliest clear memory was of a long, frightening journey, of being passed hand to hand in darkness lit by flaming torches, of the smell of burning and of horses and blood. He had been raised in a foreign barracks with other boys, outlanders all. They had been taught to compete and encouraged to fight, rewarded for strength and fitness and skills with sword and fist. But these children were not permitted to kill each other, for they were valuable. And if friendships developed, the boys were split up and moved to a different barracks. They were all taught the same language, and as they grew towards manhood, they learned anatomy and battlefield surgery, strategy and logistics, some mathematics and a little philosophy. It was a good education for a soldier, and Fell was near puberty before he understood that all boys were not raised in the same way. And he was very much older before he learned that not all children were unhappy and that, for some, childhood was blessed. He was no older than 6 when he was roughly roused from his bed one night and told to dress. It was winter, and the boys' dormitory, an echoing stone hall whose walls soaked up all warmth, was icy, the floor slippery. Fearfully the child pulled on woolen trousers and a padded jacket as 2 tall soldiers watched him impatiently. His numb fingers started to fumble with the belt, which held the short sword he was ordered to carry with him everywhere. But one of the men stopped his hand. "You won't want that, boy," he growled, and, grabbing him round the wrist, he strode off. The boy had trouble keeping up as he was half led, half dragged through the midnight palace. They crossed the starlit square where the boys exercised each day, then through the great stables which seemed to stretch for ever. The boy saw the benevolent heads of the horses gaze out at him as he passed, their dark eyes kind and curious. The boy wondered if Lancer, the little pony he had been learning to ride, was there, but he could not see her. Then they hurried through a wide carved doorway, and he was in the Red Palace proper, where, he thought, he had never been before. Here the halls were high, and the torches the 2 men carried gleamed off pale stone and carved faces, but did not touch the yawning ceilings. It was warmer than the barracks, and the child stopped shivering. His nose detected the warm smell of roasted meat, and his stomach rumbled painfully. "Come on, boy! Do you want me to carry you?" His captor growled down at him as the boy's shorter legs began to fail, and he stumbled, his arm aching where the man held it so tightly in his hard hand. "He's a child, Flavius," the other soldier said mildly. "The Emperor can wait another moment or 2. The Lion of the East isn't going anywhere." The man called Flavius grinned and slowed his pace a little, allowing the boy to keep up. He glanced up gratefully at the second man, who had red hair, and returned his look sternly. Finally they reached a place where the halls were as wide as they were tall, and the carvings of faces on the walls shone like the sun. The boy felt very small as he padded alongside the tall men, across shiny green floors like ice on a wintry lake. Then there were 2 great glowing doors, flanked by armed men, doors which seemed to open on their own as the 3 approached. They entered a huge room, much larger than any the boy had ever seen. It was thronged with people, men and women, who turned and looked at them as they entered. The buzz of conversation
Sample complete. Ready to continue?